I'm super proud to say that we just finished the Werewolf Ediquette record, and this is Geoff Haba and Davo, originally from a band called Mother Tongue. I've seen them since the mid 90s or early 90s. This is their new band. I'm super pumped to have recorded Geoff. I did 2 Mother Tongue records without Geoff, so this is the first time of having David and Geoff at the same time, and I gotta say I'm blown away. I'm gonna talk a little bit about Geoff's drum set and what we did. This is the first drums recorded in my new studio. You're about to find out what a beast Geoff is. And man, everything went in the red, and my drum set was just screaming, who is this guy? Geoff Haba, Werewolf Ediquette, drums. I had never heard the drums. I didn't even have a drum check. We just went. So everything went to the wolves, no pun intended. And I'm going to talk to you about the drum sound. When I hear people do drum demos and they want to play drums, they have this guy come in and he's like, he might as well be playing the drums with his slippers. It's like, you bring a real drummer in, shit's going to break. And that guy went through some drum heads. So there was some shortcomings. Right before this session, literally hours before, I met a guy at Target in East LA. He sold me or traded me 2 toms, a vintage John Bonham era 18 and a 14 tom. I brought him in. Geoff immediately played him. The only shortcoming was we didn't change the tom heads on the rack tom. So I'll give you a little insight on that and how it came out. Let's get to the kick drum. Hunt Sales came in and recorded with me. And this is something definitely I thank Hunt for sharing it. Whenever he does drums, which Hunt is the drummer for, or was the drummer for Iggy Pop, Tin Machine, Lust for Life, I mean, this is the man. So he had me get the kick drum mic, was just the outside the outside kick drum mic, and he says, duplicate it. Then I want you to add a reverb. He didn't really say what reverb, but this is the reverb I like. So I'm going to let you hear the kick drum without the Hunt Sales gag, and then I'll put the gag in. Here's without. With. It's insane. So if I play the whole drum set without the gag, I'll add it in a few seconds in. It's insane, and it's so cool. And I have a Neve on that, but it's not really doing anything. So that's the Hunt Sales gag. I use that a lot. I played it for Geoff first after we had done the cut, and he said he really liked it. So in the mix, that's what we did. The snare, I actually have a beater mic, which is part of I don't really use that much EQ for top end, but I'll use a beater to add the snap to the drum. So here's the beater mic. Now I'll add the kick in with it. Hunt Sales. Snare. The snare is an SM56, a vintage one. I have a reverb. Took it off. The bottom was a Peluso P414, one of my favorite mics, a condenser. It's pretty wicked on a snare. Now, the first era of the tracking, because I wish I could tell you I'm a badass all the time, but the shortcoming was we didn't change the rack tom. So when we finally heard the rack tom back, I thought it was lacking a little bit of low end because we should have changed the head. And even though we tuned it, you heard how hard he hits, and it just did not hold up well. So that's why you change your tom heads, but we were too excited and we did it. And I added an R bass, which is weird, but let me start it without the R bass. R bass. Definitely does something which I like. It just cut the cymbals and it's just giving me low end. And even though I have a bunch of mics, so it's not like your ears on that rack tom, it does complete the picture and it does add weight. So here's the rack tom on the floor. Floor has nothing on it. Now the hi-hat has a vintage spot mic of a AKG 224E, one of my favorite mics, definitely a Ringo Starr era mic. So here's the hi-hat only. Oh, he hit it. That's why you spot mic it. Now I know this is going to be, I'm going to tell you something that's illegal in almost all the states except Texas. I use Warm 67's John Bonham style as overheads. Here they are by themselves. I mean, they get the job done, and if you notice, they're not cymbal heavy, which reminds me of C12As, and that's why I love them. And nothing to disrespect Warm. They don't sound good on anything else for me, unless it's drums. So this is all in. Geoff's a beast. So yeah, I got thrown to the wolves, no pun intended, with this record, Werewolf Ediquette. But when I do these drum little treats for you, they're real drummers, real records I'm working on. I don't have a guy come in and play with slippers, or I'm playing something going into a compressor that has like a sample drum set. This is real drummer. That's a real drummer. So I have on the rooms, I have a Mojave MA37, which is one of my favorite mics, but I also use that on the vocals on this record, on the bass guitar. I can use it everywhere. It's definitely a C37 flavored mic. Here's the MA37 by itself, about 3 feet in front of the kit on the floor. Then I have a Altec 1950s Coke bottle on the other side on the floor, about 3 feet out. Both the room mics. And I learned that from Steve Albini. you just put omnis on the floor 2-3 feet out. That is a vintage Altec Coke bottle, and that's one of Mojave's greatest flagship mics, an M837. They're not cheap, but they are a definitely Swiss Army knife. I use them on everything. Speaking of Hunt sales, that's what I used on his vocals, and that's what I used on David as well. So this is talk about the drum set, but that mic I can use everywhere. There's really nothing else going on. I'll show you my drum bus. So let me put the drums in so at least the drum bus can show you what it's doing. I mean, it's barely moving, but you can see it slamming in the Pro Tools. I also have a Pultec on it, and I'll let you hear that with the drums going into it. It's almost like when I turn it off and on, the snare comes alive, and that's kind of what I'm adding to this EQ. I'm adding a little bit of low end, I'm actually cutting, I'm adding boosting, some mid-range high end, and then I'm actually cutting, which is weird to say, but that's what they do, and that's what everybody says, and I like doing that. So then I just want to be totally transparent. So I'm going to play the drums, and I'm going to turn off each plugin so you can hear what is going on the master fader. Now something, I don't know if you noticed it, but when I am using these, minus the Fairchild, the other ones are barely moving, and that's how I like to use them. I'm using them to add some gain stage and some harmonics, but they're not being slammed. So watch again what the Fairchild is doing with the drums engaged, and then I'm going to turn them off and on, and you can see that they're barely moving even when they're on, but that's how I like to use effects on my master fader, or plugins I should say. That's crazy. So I actually, for years, have been using these because they sound fucking unreal. And if you use them where they're just adding something, but you don't, I mean, even this is not being slammed here. This is not even moving. But when I put the song in, you'll see that start to move a little bit because that's just sucking up some of the bass and some of the things, the guitar solos, or well, actually they don't have a guitar player, but maybe keyboard solo. Or whatever I add in the mix that's kind of over the top, this will kind of eat that up. This is a faster compressor compared to this one, which is really slow. And this one, I mean, I can only tell you that when you use it, it just sounds good. So that's a wrap. That's kind of what I'm doing. This was part of a full mix. So if there's something in there you're like, those drums, like, it worked good for the song. But as we move through other songs, things I would, if you can tell right here, I have that reverb is off. So as I was mixing, I definitely use this as my template because I flew it in because I like the Hunt Sales kick. So that was pretty much it. When I did the whole record, the drum bus stayed the same. So I bus all the drums into those, which I'm having the API rock, and it's barely, barely, barely moving. So, anyways, that's Manny World. It's not the cleanest. It's kind of dangerous, and it's kind of like I don't give a fuck.